1.20 is here and I've got 19 amazing mods that should be ready for you to use in 1.20, depending on how long they take to jump from snapshots to the main update. Let's get into it. First we got RightClickHarvest. I mean, you can gather what this mod's going to do. It allows you to right click on most vanilla crops and all vanilla crops, and it will automatically harvest them and replant the seeds for you. It also works on sugarcane and cocoa beans, replacing the bottom one when you do harvest them. You can also configure this if a hoe is required or whether the harvesting would require hunger points, and you can also configure whether high tier hoes can harvest automatically in a larger radius than normal ones. Ultimately, just a really neat and useful mod you can have in your survival world or server. Next we have Tom's Simple Storage mod. It's basically what it says in the cover. It's a simple storage mod. If you've played with Applied Energistics 2, think about that, just a lot less high tech. You still have a lot of the cool interfaces and integration systems that come along with Applied Energistics 2, but this functions with your chest and is a lot less complicated to play around with. Moving into something aesthetic, we have falling leaves. Again, says what it does on the tin. It just adds the aesthetic of leaves falling out of trees in your vanilla world. Nothing much more, it's just a nice little aesthetic touch. Next we have Traveler's Backpack, a very useful, awesome backpack mod, this one specifically for fabric, that will add in a lot of different backpack designs that you can choose from. This backpack just adds in a bunch of extra storage, about 52 inventory slots, as well as 2 fluid tanks which can store up to 6 buckets each. Meaning that you can carry an extra amount of lava or extra amount of water, or you could even put 24 bottles of potion inside of these fluid things, which is pretty crazy. A pretty useful way to just have a really useful backpack and extra storage, especially considering how many items are now in Minecraft. You might see yourself needing this. Next we have Terrestria. This is a mod that is another one of those biome mods, but unlike most of those other type of biome mods, this is focusing more on a small amount of biomes to make them as detailed and as beautiful and as polished as humanly possible, rather than having about a million different biomes that sometimes look really cool and work very well within Minecraft and sometimes just stand out like a sore thumb. This one instead is focused on making it just work really well and result in a more cohesive experience compared to other mods. Next we have Blockus, a mod that just focuses on adding various different new blocks to allow you to decorate differently in Minecraft. Most of them just being really cool stone additions such as marble, limestone, bluestone, and verterite, as well as some white oak trees and some rainbow roses. But there's also some other additional things such as asphalt, which you can use to create roads in your world that will actually allow you to walk a lot faster than your usual speed, as well as various other cool decoration blocks, as well as all the variations that you can make with a stone cutter, which allows you to get even more detailed in the details. Next is Physics Mod, the mod that may blow up your computer if you get too carried away with doing stupid shenanigans, but this just adds in a bunch of fun block physics as well as mob physics to the game. You hit them, you kill a mob, it's going to ragdoll into the ground in various different customizable ways that you can choose to your own liking. Same goes with blocks, they will just explode into a million pieces whenever you break them. They can be multiple large pieces or lots and lots of small tiny pieces depending on what you prefer. And hey, what gets even better, if you break a block that has various other blocks on top of it, gravity will occur and all of those blocks will break, which will cause a beautiful shower of debris and broken blocks, but can also cause a lot of issues. This also goes further in that there's also physics for items that you throw onto the ground and so much more. Next we have Expanded Storage. You know iron chests? You know that mod that adds in a bunch of various different chests that have various different storage sizes based upon what material you use to upgrade the chest? Well, this is basically like that, except for, I believe, to be a lot better, as you can add in the chest in any way you want, so you can have these weird cursed looking chests or normal looking ones, as well as this also adds an additional variations for the barrels as well to give you better storage purposes there. But I think the major thing is the conversion kicks. Rather than having to actually take out the chest and use it to craft a whole new one, you can instead create a conversion click, which you just right click on the chest of choice to upgrade it to the next level, so you don't have to take any of your stuff out of it. You can leave it sorted as is and simply upgrade it to give it more size. There's also the old chest variation, which means it's not an actual rendered block entity, so it will use a lot less FPS and follows various other little beautiful little things with this mod. Next is more glass, a very simple mod. It just adds in glass slabs and glass stairs of all the various different varieties of glass that you have in Minecraft. Ultimately just a beautiful thing to add in if you want to really have a bit more joy in creating really aesthetically pleasing builds. Next we have chalk. This is a very simple mod as it just adds in chalk. Basically a little tool that allows you to make markings on blocks. For example, if you hit corners of the block itself, it'll create an arrow pointing in the direction of that corner. Basically a really good way to let you know how you got into this cave in the first place and allow you to easily backtrack rather than trying to place your torches consistently on one side of you, on your left side, so you can find your way back. You have chalk, which is far more simpler. You can also make glow chalk, which is just two calcite and a glow ink sac, which allows you to have it so it glows for you as well, which can be very useful when you're in the caves again. As well as just another useful tool, you know? Next is WI Zoom. This is effectively just the zoom from the worst Kylan. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. It is kind of like the Optifine zoom, except for a lot better as it doesn't have the weird wiggly camera movements, as well as when you do zoom in, you can use your scroll wheel to zoom in even further than what you did before, or zoom out a little bit less. Just a useful addition. Next we have Variety Aquatic. It is a mod that aims to improve the Minecraft's aquatic biomes, from rivers to swamps and oceans and undersea caves, by adding a variety of new creatures, blocks, and even more new biomes than ever before. It's just a really nice way to really enhance and enrich the water biomes of Minecraft. If you thought you want to see more stuff like the coral biome, as detailed and as beautiful as that, but you want everything else to be really beautiful, this is a really good mod for that. Next we have Dungeons and Taverns. Dungeon and Tavern adds in a bunch of vanilla-like structures that are supposed to blend in with the rest of the game and feel like they actually belong there, going from environmental additions like Firewatch Towers and Taverns to dungeons like Badland Miner Outposts and Illager Hideouts, but it also overhauls some of the vanilla structures by changing their loot and how they generate, overall enhancing your world of a lot more cool structures to find amongst them. Next is the Wandering Collector. This mod adds in a little change to the Wandering Trader that makes it so that whenever you lose an item that's dropped by you gets destroyed or despawns, it will be internally added to a collection of items that will have a chance to spawn the next time you trade with said Wandering Trader. Next, Universal Graves. It is a very simple but very customizable grave/death chest mod. You can change how even every message, block, hologram looks to how long it will be protected and whether it should drop its items when expiring, as well as various other different changes that you can make. It's a very useful mod if you die a lot of times, so just something useful to have in a server so people can't just simply steal someone else's items when they die, especially in some form of survival SMP. Next we have the Wilder Wild. This is a mod that just overhauls the Wild update effectively, adding in a bunch of new biomes, adding in the Birch Forest update, Fireflies, as well as Cypress Westlands, Poles, and so many other additions that could have been involved in the Wilder Wilds, but wasn't, which is fine, nothing wrong with that. It's just another way to overhaul a lot of these things if you felt like it wasn't quite enough. Next we have Mob Captains. This is a mod that simply just adds in uber buffed versions of additional mods. Basically, let's say you find a group of zombies. There will be one zombie that will be a lot more difficult, has a lot more health, has some more armor, movement speed, attack damage, and knockback resistance than before. But in turn, rare mob captains and above will drop illegally enchanted items. Items that have enchantments that should never even exist. For example, a bow that has both infinity and mending, or a sword that has both sharpness and smite, and other things along those lines. Enchantments that you can never do yourself, but are valuable rewards that can be caught by killing these mob captains. And Mossier Deepslate. This is a very simple mod, just adds in deep slate that can be covered in moss. You got Mossy Cobblestone Deepslate, you got Mossy Deepslate bricks, Mossy Deepslate tiles, as well as algae, mud, bricks, slabs, stairs, walls, and various other bits and pieces along those lines. Just adding a little bit of addition to customizability when building cool little things in your Minecraft world. And that's the list. What do you think of these mods? Are you going to use any of these in your survival world, or are you going to play vanilla for a little bit before going into modding? Either way, if you didn't enjoy, hit the like button down below and make sure to check out this video on screen for some more Minecraft mods. Bye bye!